In order for you to be consistent and successful in life, you have to master patience. Welcome or welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, Ty Guidance, and that's what we're going to talk about specifically in this video. So if you're new here, make sure you check out the playlist of the 30-day challenge of you becoming successful and consistent. It will be here on the screen or in the description box down below. If you haven't and you're not already caught up, we went over what you're trying to accomplish, what are your goals, what is your purpose, how is it going to affect you, why you're interested in these goals, your solutions, problem solving, coming up with action, and most importantly, schedule adjustments and creating and adapting to a new routine. That was a lot, but that is what comes with being consistent and successful responsibilities. Now, of course, when you decide to make decisions, they should be intentional. If you're making decisions and they're not with purpose or you don't have understanding, that's when you can start to doubt yourself and feel confused. And this is where a lot of times people become unmotivated and discouraged, or they have this fear that what they want to experience is impossible, or they limit themselves. When you decide to become consistent and successful and you're not used to it, you have to realize that it's unfamiliar and that it is time consuming. It doesn't have to be hard, it doesn't have to be difficult. And as your favorite mental health specialist, I personally don't recommend that for anybody to be stressed out and overwhelmed. So in order for you to not to be stressed out and overwhelmed when you decide to do something for the first time, or you're maintaining what it is that you're receiving, is to realize you're doing everything that you can. This video is going to talk about the importance of being patient. Patience is a virtue, meaning it takes time, it takes energy and effort. You have to realize that when you decide to be consistent and successful in any area of your life, especially if this is new to you, that you have to be willing to learn information to become this person or to experience the things that you want, which means you have to validate what you used to know, who you used to be, what you were exposed to, and process and internalize how it affected you in so many areas of your life. Psychologically, the suffering, the pain, the negative, the positive, emotionally, mentally, even financially. In order for you to continue to grow and for you to be abundant and be this person, you have to accept where you used to be. And this is going to be challenging if you suppress your feelings or you didn't grow up in an environment where you were shown that through actions, through support, through finances, through education, or being around people who have emotional intelligence or the capacity to show you new things. So it's really important that when we decide to change our life in any area of what we were used to, that we learn to be gentle to ourselves. Practicing being patient will allow you to be mindful. And if you guys see my face glistening, I am clearing up my skin. I'm on my skin journey. I'm being consistent with that. And if you see me looking over here, I'm reading the outline. Mindfulness is important and very imperative because it's like when you decide to do something that's new to you, immediately, if you're not equipped and educated, and this is what we talk about in these videos, you will start to feel insecure or you will limit yourself. And you have to realize that you're learning. Learning to be patient is a skill, boys and girls. It's not something, unless you were taught at an early age, that everybody knows. And you have to realize what you may be patient in, others may not. So it's really mindful that when you're learning to be patient, when you learn to be consistent, when you learn to set these goals, that you're surrounding yourself with people who have the same agenda, who are in the same direction, who have done what you've done, or in the same timeline as you, meaning they want to do similar things. You have to be mindful of what you're watching. You have to be mindful of what you see. You have to be mindful of just what you went through and know that your time is for you. Like, if you can learn to be patient, if you can learn that you're making choices every single day, that there are only 24 hours in a day, you have control over what you have control over, and allow yourself to heal and go through the emotions and grieve your past, that everything is going to get better, but it takes time. Like, once again, if you grew up in dysfunction, in corruption, in abuse, psychologically, mentally, physically, and you physically are now separating yourself, you're now creating boundaries, you now cut off certain people, places, and things, that it affected you. It affected you in so many ways of your life that it caused you maybe to be paranoid. It caused you to have fear. It caused you to be anxious. It caused you to be depressed. It caused you to not be aware or confused and conflicted. Like, being patient is something that you have to appreciate. And speaking from experience, when you're going through trials and tribulations, when you decide to lose the weight, when you decide to physically move, when you decide to go to school, get your degree, or whatever it is that you're interested in, when you start to be a content creator or be a business owner, that you taking every single day for what it is an investment. Being consistent is you doing things repetitively until you're able to see the results. And because if this is new to you, you don't know how long it's going to take. A lot of people start things and they have this mindset and they're excited and they're passionate, and it's not to invalidate you or make you feel discouraged, but you have to learn how to be practical in order for you to be patient. A lot of people recommend to be delusional, I personally don't like to do that. I understand as a Gen Z or millennial, like that's a common trait that people do in society. I don't want to be delusional, and I don't recommend that you guys be delusional, because if people understood the definition of delusional, they wouldn't just say that. But I get it. People say that to make you feel comfortable, but it's like you don't have to be delusional if you could be practical. Because when you start to be delusional and you believe in things that are not true, that's where the insanity comes in. That's when the insecurities comes in. That's when you start to actually lower your vibration. So I get it for, the terminology. I'm a Gen Zer myself, but we're not going to be delusional about what it is that we want. We have to be practical, meaning we have to be present. And it's going to be challenging. It's going to be difficult. Like I said, if you grew up in a certain environment or you were around certain people, places, and things, and you have to let go of it. Change is inevitable. And change is scary when you don't know what it is that you want to do, or you're not sure of how things are going to work out. So in the previous videos, we went over, like I said, and discussed. And this is why I strategically and intentionally broke the information down, because being consistent is a journey. Being consistent is not something you just experience in 24 hours, like I said, unless you've been installed that. In order for you to have desires, you have to have belief. You have to have a sense of knowing. And most importantly, you have to desire these things. So it's like, if you genuinely want to lose weight, if you genuinely want to start a business, if you want to become a content creator, if you want to go to school, if you want to be an artist, you genuinely have to be able to put time, energy, and effort into it. And you have to be okay with knowing that once you decide to sign the paperwork, once you decide to commit to this goal, whatever it is that you want, that you are willing to go through whatever it takes. As long as you're doing it the correct way, meaning as long as you're not harming yourself and others, because I don't condone violence towards ourselves and other people. Now, of course, the videos are going to resonate with the people that resonate with. Those who don't have to. And you have to realize that everyone's not going to be abundant. Everyone's not going to heal. Everyone's not going to be consistent. We're not here to worry about that. And you have to realize that being consistent is based off of your actions. That's it. But during the times where it's difficult and it's challenging, like I said, learning to be gentle to yourself. So allowing yourself to be vulnerable. And a lot of people get uncomfortable because, once again, they didn't grow up in households, or they weren't taught that communicating and articulating how you feel is acceptable. People probably made fun of you. Maybe you were bullied. Maybe you were abused psychologically or mentally. Maybe you felt silent, right? Because other people didn't show love or didn't express their feelings, or if you cried, that you were weak. You have to realize that in order for you to be consistent, you have to change. So your mindset has to change. So how you feel about certain things, you have to reevaluate. And this is the time, even though nobody wants to hear this, during that time of isolation, during that time where you feel uncomfortable, that's for you to figure out what it is that you're feeling. You have to be able to identify what is triggering you. So why do you feel so impulsive? And you have to realize common sense is not common. Everyone does not experience the same life. Yes, we all have 24 hours. And yes, as human beings, as a collective, we all can have access to a certain amount of information, but everyone is not aware of that. So me personally, as your favorite mental health specialist, and just me, I inform and educate those who want to resonate with these videos. Like, in order for you to be consistent, you have to realize why you feel the way you do. And you have to be honest about how you feel. Like, if you're angry because you went through trials and tribulations and you didn't have the guidance, you didn't have the support, you didn't have the wisdom, you weren't able to be vulnerable, or you just didn't know you were, then say that. Verbally, you have to release what you've been suppressing until it's no longer a thought, until it no longer affects you. And the more you deny the anger that you feel, the more that you try to deny the frustration of people backstabbing you, or not knowing any better, or growing up in poverty, or coming from a broken household, or just going through the things that you went through, the longer it's going to be a cycle in your mind. And like I said, this is where the delusion comes in. Like, being delusional is not mentally or emotionally stable. You know, like I said, no shade to the girlies and the guys who are like, just be delusional. No. As your favorite mental health specialist, I don't want you to say that. Now, if you can take a sense of joke, okay, cool, you know, but you have to realize that during the tough times that you're going through and you decide to invest into yourself, it is for you to understand why. And it's up to you. Like, being consistent, being successful, there's no timeline. Like, yes, you see other people maybe have the things that you want to have, or maybe you see people receiving certain things, but it's like you don't know why they're receiving them. When you decide to be committed and consistent, you can't compare yourself. Like, learning to accept what you have control over and learning what you don't is also going to help you. But speaking from experience, at least what I've noticed about myself, what has helped me along my healing journey, was to identify the emotions that I didn't communicate, that I didn't say. And the best way you can do this is to get a journal or a notebook, unless you have somebody that you can confide in, and write a letter to yourself or to the people, places, and things about what you felt, or things maybe you did or did not say, so therefore you can receive the closure. Maybe certain people, places, and things did to you, negative or positive, good or bad, and maybe you didn't say how you felt. Maybe you did say how you felt, and maybe you felt some type of way. Like, you have to learn how to forgive yourself. You have to realize that in your past, or even right now, you're doing what you know, like you're doing what you saw, whether it was right or wrong, and it's up to you to be okay with that. Like, speaking from experience, what has helped me along my healing journey was to just accept that I made choices based off of what I knew, and I didn't have the resources and the tools and the guidance and the finances that I have now at the age of 27, but that's okay, because that was my past. And as I've grown, as I matured, just like you are going to do in life, you learn to realize that the rest of your life, okay, as long as you live for it, because you don't know how long you're going to live for, that you just make better choices. That's all. Like, you getting the things that you want, who says that you have to get them at a specific time? And for me also too, what I had to realize, the people, places, and things in your life matter. So it's just like, the more you learn to be intentional about your decisions and you being consistent, you being successful, anything that's not aligned with you will be removed. I'm telling you from experience, the people, places, and things who are not genuinely aligned with me are not around me. And I personally don't want to be around them. It's not to brag. It's not to be superior. It's just, it is what it is. You can't force connections or compatibilities with certain people, places, and things. And it's like, once you realize that discomfort, you know, it's just like, leave it where it's at. I don't have any harm. I'm grateful for the things that I went through. I know moving forward what I'm going to receive. But you have to continue to show up for yourself. And you have to realize, other people, even though it may not seem like it, other people don't have control over you. When you go through trials and tribulations, in the moment, it may seem like that. But me, from experience, or speaking from experience personally, I don't allow anything that's not me or who genuinely knows me to affect who I am as a person, or stop me being consistent, because I didn't have a handout. That's why I make these videos. Like, sometimes in life, people are not going to support you. You may not have the finances, and that's okay. Like, you have to know that I'm making these choices because it's going to better me, and you have to know that you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with doing what you can. And it's just like, me personally from experience, because I didn't have a handout, and I'm not saying that as a negative way or to complain, but accepting my reality, I don't feel discouraged. I don't feel like I'm behind. I feel like I know I'm exactly where I need to be. And you have to realize that. You have to know that you are where you need to be, because what you learned, what you've experienced, and that you don't have to hold on to it. Consistency becomes second nature or first nature or human nature. Shout out to Michael Joseph Jackson. Why does she do it that way? And we say, why? Tell them that it's human nature. Oh my gosh, you guys, I love that song. But like, once you learn to be consistent, once you accept your new lifestyle, once you start to make the choices daily, you're going to realize this is me. This is me. This is you. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Now, gonna let the light shine. If you know where it's from, okay, you guys, not my inner child coming out, but like, just really just be grateful that you went through the things that you went through and that you show up for yourself. When you can learn to focus on what you have and you do what you need to do, it's gonna get done. It's gonna get done. And speaking from experience, depending on how big your goals are, it takes time. So like I said, if you're building a house, and I come with statistics, facts, and information to what I'm saying in research, if you're building a house on average, it could take 8 months. Right now, when I'm posting this, it is the fall time, transitioning into the winter time. The weather's going to change. Things are going to happen. Learning to be consistent is learning to adapt and still being motivated. This is why in the previous videos we talked about, why are you interested in your goals? What is the desiring feeling that you want to experience? Like, what is your outcome? How is this going to affect you? Like, it's really important that when you make decisions, like I said, they're intentional. And if you're not making decisions intentionally, you have to start taking it serious. Now, there's a time and a place to be serious. I'm not serious all the time, because if so, I would be like Cadet Kelly, okay? And me personally, it's important to have balance. So like, I don't believe in being serious all the time, because I would be too serious. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not a serious person. When I need to be serious, I am Cadet Kelly. I'm very stern. But then I have my moments where it's like, I'm 27. I'm about to be 28. So it's just like, you know, I'm still young and youthful, but you got to go with the flow. Being consistent, being successful is up to you, because you get to define your success. Don't allow anything or anybody, like I said, who's not contributing into your life to make you feel bad about what you went through. So when you accept where you are, when you identify your triggers, you talk about how you feel, you learn to utilize your time management. We just talked about that previously. You accept what's out of your control, and you are aware of what you went through, and you are honest about how you feel, the negative, the bad, the ups and the downs. You accept those things, you will get to where you need to be. So if you have questions, comments, or concerns, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you're commenting down below. Subscribe if you watched the video all the way to the end. Thank you for those who are commenting and engaging. I appreciate you so much. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to DM me on all my social media platforms, or mainly Instagram. All of them will be down in the description box below. And if you want a one-on-one session, head to my website at tyguidance.summer.com. I can answer any of your questions. Now, I am reaching my goal here on YouTube with you guys. So if you have any specific topics, also let me know in the comment section, or as well as the community. And when you follow me on my social media platforms, I will be going live on TikTok and Instagram, because I do have that feature there, and I will be answering common questions that I receive daily. As well as when you go to my Instagram and my TikTok, on my story, I do a poll, and I ask you guys, like, what questions do you want to go over? What are the things that you're interested in, what we need to focus on, or any topics, like I said, that you want to go over, or any videos that are similar to this, until we can reach our goal here on YouTube, which we will be reaching very soon. But know that in order for you to be consistent and successful, you have to learn how to be patient, and it's a process. So instead of being mad, or instead of trying to deny being mad, you're allowed to be mad, love. Now, of course, I don't want you dwelling in your feelings. I want you to identify why you feel mad, accept the mad, be mad in the moment, but learning to let it go. And as soon as you can let go and release anything that is not a part of your goals, you will move forward. Okay? Love you until next time. Bye.